What's up, nooffseason.com fam? I am Paul Hickey. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show. It is here to help you make money flipping sports cards. On today's show, we're going to make you aware of a potential new eBay scam. We're going to talk about my current selling strategy with a peek into my eBay listings. Is it time to buy Jackson Holiday since he did not break camp with the Orioles? We'll go behind the scenes at a major card grading company. Talk about PSA yanking up their membership fee. Tell you how you can win a $250 gift card at graybos.co. We'll talk Masters preview with the golf card collector and reasons to collect non-sports cards like Stranger Things with the Sports Card Dad. Up now on this fire edition of the Sports Card Strategy Show. Let's go.
Yes, this is DJ Ski, and this is the Sports Card Strategy Show. You already know there is no off-season.
I'm Jeff Wilson, and I'm loving the content here on the Sports Card Strategy Show. There is no off-season.
All right, you ready to rock?
Ready to go.
What's up, everybody? I'm Paul Hickey with nooffseason.com. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show brought to you by Grybos Sports Cards. Grybos Sports Cards is a local card shop located in Richmond, Virginia, and is owned by Gray Burnett, Ryan Fitz, and Duke Dodson, who you know is Denny one time. Grybos sports the best selection of singles in the Mid-Atlantic and a wide variety of wax. Graybos is happy to announce that they are now the only direct buyer of Topps Bowman in Central Virginia and are now breaking daily on Fanatics Live. They are moving to their new larger shop, which will be connected to the hottest sports bar in Richmond in the near future. Stay tuned for those details. Listeners of Sports Card Strategy Show can use the promo code GRAYBOS20 to get $20 off their first purchase with Graybos on Fanatics Live. Don't forget to get a free 30-day trial at nooffseason.com today to help you make money flipping sports cards, build your sports card investment portfolio, get unlimited advice from our experts, and take sports card school to navigate the hobby. That's nooffseason.com. Get your free 30-day trial today. All the data we use on the Sports Card Strategy Show is from marketmoversapp.com. Use code NOOFFSEASON at marketmoversapp.com to get 20% off for life after a free 14-day trial. All right, let's get to the Sports Card Strategy. What's up, fam? My name is Paul Hickey. This is the Sports Card Strategy Show. I want you making money flipping sports cards. That's why we are here. Every day, I want you thinking, what is my sports card strategy? So we're going to say hello to the live chat like we do. First thing on every episode, Rusty Immigart in the house. What's happening, Sports Card Strategy Show fam? Opening day week. That's right. We're going to get into that. Matt Rubin, good morning. New showtime. No, Matt. Actually, I thought my kids had a dentist appointment today at 1 p.m. local time, and normally we go live at noon local time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time. I'm in Central, so I was trying to be a good dad, go to get my kids from school early, take them to the dentist, but my wife canceled the appointment for me, thinking, I don't want to have Paul have to do all that today. We can do it in the summer. So I kept the live stream at 10 a.m. local time, not a new show time. Those of you listening on Apple and Spotify do not care, but I figured I would address that because for those of you who like to get on the live at youtube.com/Paul Hickey, I appreciate you. And we will continue to go at 1 p.m. Eastern time. Don't worry. Sergeant Slabs in the house says, let's go. Monday morning fire from the best card show in the biz. Appreciate that, Sergeant Slabs. Yo to Gabe Davis and Joey, good morning. We're going to continue to shout out the live chat as we go along, but let's get into it. Remember, if you like the content we're putting out, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. I can't even tell you how much that helps us. Of course, join the Discord at sportscardstrategy.com to participate in the ongoing conversation. And thank you to our network partner, CGC Cards. We hope that continues. They're a Q1 network partner, and we hope that continues into Q2 and beyond. I think it will. This supports us. It supports CGC Cards by clicking the banner for CGC cards at nooffseason.com. Are you ready to start grading your cards? CGC Cards is the perfect place to slab your favorite sports cards. From their crystal clear holders to their affordable pricing, CGC Cards is the perfect stop for your grading needs. Go to cgccards.com to start grading today. And we're going to hear from CGC Cards. There's a behind the scenes tour that Andy Kaysen of Football Card Quest and I did with Connor Barnett, our head of content at nooffseason.com. We're going to play that today. It was with Andy Broom, VP of CGC Cards. So special behind the scenes tour of CGC Cards on today's show coming up. Of course, as you all know, I have the utmost respect for CGC Cards, but I grade all my cards at PSA because that is how I get the most value on the secondary market. Don't forget to drop your L's and dubs in the live chat. Drop your questions in the live chat. We're going to get to all of them and give more live chat love at the end of this show. Real quick, let's talk about Sports Card School. Dropping lessons there weekly. Sports Card School is a safe place for noobs, advanced flippers, and high rollers alike to learn how to navigate the hobby and ultimately build a collection that increases in value. Why? Because if it doesn't increase in value, guys, we fear you're going to leave the hobby. We want to keep you in the hobby. We want to keep you making smart decisions to increase the value of your portfolio and make money flipping sports cards. Go to sportscardschool.com. Get a free 30-day trial at nooffseason.com today to start learning our guidelines, strategies, and plays to help you make money flipping sports cards to fund your PC and other things in your life. And before we get into the question of the day, I want to give another live chat shout out to Lonnie Conley, who doesn't happen to be in the live chat today, but he's normally in the live chat on a lot of our episodes. And when he's not, he's texting me. Lonnie has become a good friend of the show, and he is a grinder. He is always grinding at card shows with his partner, Chris Knights. He's always grinding on eBay to flip the cards that he picks up at card shows. That's actually a big play of our guy, Rob Masora. Shout out Rob Masora of bobscardmarket.com. Bob and Lonnie are the two guys that come to mind all the time when I think of grinding at card shows and selling on eBay. Lonnie emailed me, guys, about a new eBay scam. So thanks to our very own nooffseason.com family member and loyal listener, Lonnie Conley, for submitting this. He says, hey, Paul, you might like this. I got a top card out of a blaster, listed it for $200 raw. The guy paid full price at the time. That was 25% more than comps, and there were plenty out there. All of my pictures were high quality close-ups, and I mentioned this helps out with the premium. Lonnie's one of the guys that recommends the light box. As soon as the card was delivered, I received a refund request because of a print line. It took 4 to 5 days to get the card back. And the second picture, he sent me 2 pictures. He sent me a picture of the card that was in his listing and a picture of the card that he got back. He says that my intuition tells me that this buyer saw no authentication required, bought my card at full price to grade, and was likely sitting on the card with the print line that he sent me the picture of back. This is interesting. So he says, I would have never listed this card at $200 if there was a noticeable print line. I would have opened a ticket with Panini for factory damage like I did for a Wemby black curtain prism that came out of a blaster with a massive print line on it. My reputation is not worth $200 to me, so I will refund it and eat it. But the lesson learned is do not list a raw card at $200 and do not accept an offer at $200 or within $20 of $200 unless it's over $200 if the card is raw. Let me explain why. So first of all, the card that he thinks he got scammed on here was a CJ Stroud prism. I believe it's a no huddle orange or no huddle yellow prism. So it's a card that is around that, say now probably around $150 to maybe around $200 mark. He says the reason why this $200 price point is important is because the eBay authentication starts at $250, right? So when it goes through eBay authentication, eBay is going to examine the card. It's going to make the buyer aware that the card has passed the eBay authentication, and it's going to ship the card to the buyer. And it's going to make it, in that sense, harder to give the buyer reasons to request a refund and send the card back because it has already gone through the authentication process. Now, in theory, The buyer still could have sent the card back and requested a refund, but it's going to give the buyer one less reason to do so. So what Lonnie thinks could be happening here is that there could be people that are sitting on a card that they don't like, that is around a $200 card. Maybe it's even less. It's like in Lonnie's case, he's thinking maybe this is like $100 to $150 card, but maybe it's got a print line. Maybe it's got a soft corner. Maybe it's got some surface damage, but for whatever reason, they don't like the card and they don't think it's going to gem. So then what they're looking to do is they're looking to buy the same card in better condition from eBay for less than $200, less than $250, so that it won't go through the eBay authentication program. And then essentially return the card that they already own that they don't like and keep the card that they bought. This is super interesting. Thanks to Lonnie Conley for submitting this. So this leads me to my question of the day, which I've already posted on our Instagram account at Sports Card Strategy. So I want you guys all to check it out. Question of the day is, have you ever been scammed in the hobby? Have you ever been scammed in the hobby? It doesn't have to be anything to do with eBay. A lot of times eBay is a platform that prevents against scams. So I'm actually surprised to kind of hear of a scam like this going on eBay, but I know it does happen. I know it happens everywhere, so it's not unique to eBay. I've almost been scammed a few times. Luckily, each time I've either been able to get my money back or get the card. I know one time I bought an Ellie De La Cruz auto, Bowman Chrome first base auto. It was in August of 2022 is when I bought it. And the buyer didn't ship anything. So because of the price of the card, I had to go through the whole eBay dispute process, ended up getting my money back, but it just took a while and it was nerve-wracking. So, eBay does protect the buyer. I know PayPal Goods and Services protects the buyer. Have you ever been scammed in the hobby? Go to Sports Card Strategy on Instagram, comment on the pinned post, or comment at youtube.com/Paul Hickey on this video. Have you ever been scammed in the hobby? Again, thanks to Lonnie Conley. Hopefully this all ends up going better for Lonnie. So let us know. All right, I want to get into my current selling strategy because I think that it's very, very relevant to what all of you could and or should be doing. So the first card I kind of want to share with you is my Drake London Kaboom. I bought this Drake London Kaboom a couple months ago, and I've sold it for a profit. I bought it a couple months ago. I talked about it on the show under Paul's Pickups. And it's a Drake London 2022 Panini Absolute Kaboom Vertical Super Short Print PSA 10. I got it for $400. Now, this was before Kirk Cousins signed with the Minnesota Vikings. So it was before kind of that hype around Drake London and the Falcons offense. If I said he signed with the Minnesota Vikings, I meant to say signed with the Atlanta Falcons. So it was before Kirk Cousins signed with the Atlanta Falcons. And I thought Drake London would simply be a good offseason buy low pick going into his third year. I knew that he would have an improved quarterback, though. That was the play. The play was sell this Drake London PSA 10 Kaboom in September or even August based around hype of an improved Atlanta Falcons offense. Well, a lot of times we talk about sell markers. To me, that was the sell marker. I always say don't buy a card without a sell marker in mind. So to me, that was the drop dead sell marker. Sell Drake London in late August, early September with the hype of a new and improved offense. It's got a new coach, Raheem Morris, not an offensive guy, but they brought in some coaches to improve the offense. And they got Kirk Cousins. I didn't know they would get Kirk Cousins, but I knew that they definitely would not have Desmond Ridder starting. And so I went ahead and listed this Kaboom in a buy it now or best offer at $1,000. My thought was, look, I'll take offers. I'm not going to take any below $750 because I want to try to double my money on this Kaboom. But if I can move out of it earlier than the selling marker, why not? And so sure enough, somebody made me an offer at my minimum offer, which was $750, and I accepted. So the breakdown of this is that now I am, if you look at my dashboard here at nooffseason.com, and premium members of nooffseason.com can fully transparently see my entire dashboard of my inventory, my P&L, if you will. by going to nooffseason.com/strategist/Hickey. And if you're logged in as a premium member, you can see this. This is what one-on-one members get, by the way. So if you're interested in the one-on-one package to have me work directly with you to help you make money flipping sports cards for 12 months, email me at paul@nooffseason.com. But this is one of my most profitable cards. And I didn't wait until the selling marker. I knew there would be a selling marker. I didn't wait. I went ahead and listed it in a buy it now or best offer. At the selling marker, I list in 7 to 10 day auctions. We'll talk more about that this week and next week for sure. But before the selling marker, I list in buy it now or best offers. So I'm net profit, total net profit, $240.11. And if you look at this, premium members can look at this. That's the most profit I've made out of any of the cards that I'm sharing with you on this dashboard. Now, the cards I'm sharing with you on this dashboard are basically 2024 cards that I'm holding. And then as I've sold them in 2024, I have moved them out of my inventory, but they're showing in my P&L here. So they're in my total inventory table, but they're not in my current portfolio here. So you see my current portfolio here. For those of you listening, Shedeur Sanders holds by far the most of my current portfolio. From a dollar standpoint, 25.6% of my dollars are invested in Shedeur Sanders. But moving out of this Drake London allowed me to profit $240. Now, another one that is going to be close to this, I have not updated it yet on the tracker, but over the weekend, I woke up to something very pleasant. I woke up on Sunday morning to a notification that my Justin Fields 2021 Panini Absolute Kaboom PSA 9 sold for $950.99. This was a offer to a buyer who had shown interest in it through adding it to their watch list. I had it listed just a tad higher than this, about $999. And I made an offer at $950.99 because I was $820 into this card. And the buyer paid $1,028.26. The cool thing about this, unlike the Drake London, I had to mail to the authenticator because I had it in my possession. This one was in my eBay vault, and the buyer wanted it in their eBay vault. Perfect. That means I don't have to do anything. Mountain Lake Cards and Games in the live chat. Derek Koonsman looks like Kunzman in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you. All right, so we're going to get to live chat, love, L's and dubs, and audience Q&A at the end of the show. But moving along with my selling strategy, the selling strategy here was the same as the Drake London. It was, look, I bought this Justin Fields Kaboom a couple months ago. The risk was that he would go to a team like the Steelers and not project as the starter. But what was interesting about this is I still profited because I bought this card at $820. I know some one-on-one strategist people bought it less than that because they're working with me directly on how to make money flipping sports cards. And I got them a deal even better than my deal on this, but got a deal at $850 on eBay, went into my vault, buyer bought it, elected to keep it in their vault. That means I don't have to do anything. eBay's taking care of this sale for me. This $950.99. There's no fees taken out of it, no transaction fees. The buyer paid sales tax. So $950.99. And here we go. I have profited now. I believe actually maybe I did add this to my tracker. So Justin Fields, I did. So I profited $130.99. And I didn't have to hold. So I paid $820 for it, all in. Got $130.99 net profit. Even when he went to the Steelers, great play, because if he would have been a starter somewhere, this card probably would have gone for more. Even better, because I listed it before the selling marker, like I was telling you about in the Drake London play a minute ago, I didn't have to hold this thing all off season. I didn't have to hold this thing. I get my money back. So I get $950.99 full cash back into my account, $130.99 profit. That is why we do what we do here, everybody. That is why you should continue to listen to this show, continue to get a free 30-day trial at nooffseason.com, and you bet your butt you stay subscribed. You let us hit your credit card for the $225 a year. That's $20 a month. We're better than Netflix. We're helping you make money flipping sports cards. All right. So I love the fact that you can basically just use the eBay vault and not have to do anything. And it's got me thinking, why don't I do that more? Because the less time I have to spend packing and shipping cards, the better. Now, I talk about a particular pocket. I'm just going to comment on this real quick. I talk about a particular pocket of cards that makes sense for the eBay vault. That pocket of cards is basically cards that you don't want to do anything with, i.e., they're already slabbed in the grading company's slab with the grade that you want. That's it. They're basically already exactly how you want them to be. Because you don't want to send a card to the eBay vault that you want to crack and submit to another grading company, right? That just doesn't make sense. But if you have a high dollar card, over $250, already graded with the grade in the slab that you want, why not use the eBay vault? Currently, there's no transaction fees. There might be transaction fees in the near future. I know that. But currently, there's no transaction fees. And so I think it's a great play. All right, now let's talk about some cards that aren't necessarily in my eBay vault, but it's just time to talk about timing the market. Okay, so first let's look at my active listings. Actively, I have a lot of baseball guys listed. I have Elijah Green, Bowman Chrome, Bowman Draft Chrome, First Prospect Auto PSA 10, 2 Brooks Lee 2022 Bowman Chrome Draft Sapphire PSA 10s, couple Drew Jones base PSA 10s, firsts, a Lunar Glow PSA 10 Drew Jones, first, a lot of Jackson Churios. We sent out a Jackson Churio sell alert last week. I've got all of my Jackson Churios listed. All but one is in a 10-day auction that will end basically late Thursday, like not Thursday night, but like Thursday evening, because the Brewers opening day is, I believe, 1 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. Jackson Churio is going to be making his major league debut. My auctions are going to end essentially right as that game ends, because I'm banking on the fact that I'm going to beat recent comps. Recent comps have been a little bit, not down overall from where we bought him. Definitely not down overall from where we bought him and where we told you guys to buy in. But depending on the cards, some of the cards just aren't up as much as we thought they might be up. But I think that's because many of these auctions still have several days left. There's 4.5 days left on all of my Jackson Churio auctions. And as I'm seeing already on my Brooks Lee auctions, I'm starting to get some bids already that are above comps on those Sapphire PSA 10 Brooks Lees. So I think a lot of times we're fearful to list our cards in auctions until comps put us at where we want our auctions to be. But what we have to remember is that if we list our cards at the right time and it's the right card for the right player, we could be the comps that we're hoping to achieve. And that's what I'm trying to do with my Churio and my Brooks Lee here. I don't know if my Drew Jones is going to make it. I kind of just want to move out of Drew Jones, to be honest with you, at the beginning of the season. They're not big cards either. But a couple of my Jackson Churios are the PSA 10 base autos out of 2022 Bowman. So I'm looking to move out of those. I'm hoping to be near the top of the recent comps. Comps for those cards have been around $750 to $1,000, but the more recent ones have been closer to the $750 mark. I bought in at $500. I bought one at $500, one at $750. I've got the one I bought at $750 is listed at $999. Buy it now or best offer. The one I bought at $500 is an auction that's at $415 right now with 4 bids, but there's 5 days left. And yes, my opening bid was $399. So I jacked up the price of my opening bid for that particular card. If you want more information on how to price your opening bids, it's all dependent on the card. So you got to ask at nooffseason.com/ask. And I'm going to answer on the overflow show because you got to give me your specific situation and I'll help break it down. Cheers to Ziggy. No. Happy spring and happy Monday. Good to see you. Luke Menschel and Adam are in the house in the live chat. Good to see you guys. I'm going to shout you out later at the end of the show, guys. Drop your L's and dubs and questions in the live chat. We'll get to them at the end of the show. Moving on with my selling strategy. Other active listings include a Kenneth Walker III. Kaboom, PSA 9, rookie out of 2022, the vertical, super short print. I'm trying to do the same thing with the Kenneth Walker III as I did with the Drake London and the Justin Fields that I just talked about. I've got a 2022 National Treasures Drake London RPA, first off the line, silver rookie patch auto out of 25 BGS 8. Same strategy. Why not list it now? $1,000, buy it now or best offer. And my Darius Garland Kaboom. One of my two Darius Garland Kabooms, same thing. This is a BGS 9.5 with a 10, a 9, and 295 subgrades. $1,500, buy it now or best offer. Recent comp, the most recent comp, $1,050 on that. So I'm just fielding offers, not at the selling marker yet, not at the NBA playoffs where I might rip it down and put it in a auction. Because that's what I do. That's what I do. Selling strategy, guys, is buy the right card for the right player at the right time, first of all, with a selling marker in mind. List the card, buy it now or best offer before the selling marker, field offers. If you don't sell it before the selling marker, you got to be signed up for sell alerts. Text sports cards to 1-833-992-5727. That's sports cards to 1-833-992-5727. And when we send out a sell alert, or when you hear me say sell on the Sports Card Strategy Show for a particular card or a particular set of cards, group of cards for a guy that you own, or you're just astute enough to be following the data yourself and following our guidelines, strategies, and plays at sportscardschool.com, list in a 7 to 10 day auction at the selling marker. When in doubt, submit a question at nooffseason.com/ask for your particular scenario, and we're going to help you make money. All right, so let's talk next about scheduled listings. I've got some scheduled listings. I think this is important. I think selling strategy is super important. That's why I'm getting into it today. Oh, my shoes in the house. What's up, brother? Hey, quick departure from the selling strategy to tell Shoes that thanks to Andrew Puppo, Rocky Empire, Andrew Puppo said, in the Prism basketball break for premium members, the free giveaway break for premium members, he said, send all my Denver Nuggets cards to Shoes. So Shoes, I went to the UPS store yesterday and you're getting all the free Denver Nuggets cards from that break are coming your way, brother. So let us know how Junior Shoes, Mini Shoes, Mrs. Shoes, Oh My Shoes, like all the jokers and everything coming your way. Shane Graham in the house. You're usually number one in the live chat, brother. Started early today because I thought my kids had a dentist appointment. My wife canceled it. This is not a new weekly time. So sorry to start early on you guys. For those of you, again, for those of you listening on Apple and Spotify, which is most of our audience, you probably don't care what time we started, but you probably like the fact that Shane Graham's usually in first, and he's not in first today because my kids, I thought, had a dentist appointment, but don't. Okay. Rusty Imagart says it's really simple. Wait for sell alerts and sell, sell, sell. No questions asked. Watch the cash roll in. Amen, Paul. Rusty Imagart's the one who gave me the nickname the Dave Ramsey of sports cards. What do you think of that? What do you think of the nickname the Dave Ramsey of sports cards? I don't follow Dave Ramsey, but I get it. I get the reference. And I actually think because I know some of the principles of Dave Ramsey, I think it's funny. I just think it's funny. I like it. Okay. All right. So I see some questions coming in the live chat. I'm going to hold them. I'm going to star them, and we're going to get to them at the end of the show. Thanks, everybody. Back to the selling strategy here. Scheduled listings. eBay scheduled listings. Why is this important? When you got a lot of cards And there's a lot of things that you need to move out of. And you've followed our strategies long enough to know that you only have bought this card with a selling marker in mind. Why not put them all in eBay drafts? And then when eBay gets within like a 3-week window, it's going to let you schedule a listing. So when you're about 3 weeks out, you can actually schedule listings. And then at that point, you don't even have to worry about it. Like, you've got other things to do in your lives, right? I mean, I think you do. A lot of you are probably dipping out of work here on a Monday to watch the live chat, but most of you are listening on Apple and Spotify or watching back later at youtube.com/Paul Hickey, which tells me that you have a life. And then you're just listening to the podcast when you're running, walking the dog, driving in your car, whatever it is, right? And so I want you to be able to take advantage of all these tools in the hobby to help you make money. One of them is scheduling a listing. So what do I have listings scheduled for right now, guys? It's March 25th. I'll give you a second to think of it in your heads. And then I'm going to tell you, I mentioned it in the opening of the show that we're going to talk about it with the golf card collector. That's a clue right there. The Masters. The Masters is coming up. I've held Scotty Scheffler 2017 Sports Illustrated PSA 5 rookie card, John Rahm 2019 Sports Illustrated for Kids PSA 7 rookie card, and a Tiger Woods 2001 National Promo PSA 10 that's like pop a million. Nothing special about that card, but I've held them for a long time. Haven't been able to move them. What was the selling marker, guys? It was the Masters 2024. I'm not going to forget the Masters 2024. I see you, Joey, in the live chat. Knew it. Masters. Luke Menschel, Tiger Woods. I see you guys. Brilliant. Love it. The Masters. So golf cards. You got golf cards. You don't know what to do with them. Now's a great time to list them. But don't list them yet. List them with the start date of April 3rd, 2024 at about 6 p.m. Eastern time. Why? Because that's going to end right when the first round of the Masters is starting, guys. I mean, people are going to be playing and all that stuff. In the practice rounds, there's going to be hype. CBS is running a crap ton of commercials for the Masters right now during March Madness. It's on people's minds. So ending in 7 to 10 day auctions on the Wednesday practice round or on the Thursday opening round for just any general golf card, anybody playing in the Masters, especially Tiger Woods, even Scotty Scheffler, John Rahm, other names. Great idea. Great idea. Now, let's get into my draft listings next. So my draft listings, why are they drafts still? Well, this is because eBay wouldn't let me schedule them yet, but these are all ready to fly, baby. They're all ready to fly. So here they are. 2022 Bowman U Chrome Prospect Bo Nix Auto Orange Refractor out of 25 PSA 10. Bought it at the National from a great guy who runs the Roadshow shop in Lexington, Kentucky. Marvin Harrison Jr. 2023 Bowman University Chrome Ramblin' Man PSA 9. Not a big card, but that's okay. And then, guys, a ridiculous amount of Caleb Williams cards as well, okay? A ridiculous amount of Caleb Williams cards, Drake May. Why are they in drafts? Why are they not scheduled yet? Well, because eBay won't let me schedule in March auctions that I want to start essentially on April 17th. I want these auctions to start on April 17th. And I want them to be 10-day auctions, 7 to 10-day auctions that end before or during the NFL draft. So it's going to depend on the card. It's going to depend on the player as to when you start them and when you end them, because there's a lot of guys that might make sense to hold past the draft. Why? Because they're not going to have pro cards out until probably October. So you're looking at a situation where, like, if you've got Bo Nix or Michael Penix, now I'm listing my Nix. I just want to see what happens. I want to list my Nix. It's a big card. And I think the Nix could be a guy that generates some hype leading up to the draft. So I want to capitalize on that. But I've got a Michael Penix card. Maybe I hold that one and just see where he goes. And maybe I even hold it into the preseason. Because can't you picture guys like Bo Nix, Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy? Can't you picture them popping off in the preseason? Because they've all got serious experience because they're all like 87 years old. So, guys like Caleb Williams, Drake May, even Jaden Daniels, they might not even play that much in the preseason, right? Because they might be starters on their team. We don't know what's going to happen yet, right? So this is all about what card do you have, but think about getting them ready. This is what I'm doing. I'm moving out of my Caleb Williamses. I'm moving out of my Drake Mays. I know I'm going to profit on those because of where I bought in at. I'm going to move out of some of these other ones like the Bo Nix and the Marvin Harrison, probably the Penix. But think about where you're at. And then if you need specific help with your selling strategy, one more time, all you got to do, go to nooffseason.com/ask, right? Go to nooffseason.com/ask. If you don't have a free 30-day trial, why? Why don't you? Ask the question. I'll answer on the Overflow show, help you with your specific scenario, and I'll help you make money. All right. So there's one other guy that I have in my drafts. And it's going to make sense to you after I break it down, but it's actually going to be a great segue into something that I want to talk about that I think probably all of you guys are going to be pumped to talk about. Baseball card curmudgeon, what's up? Joe E says Knicks is going first round. I hope so. It's going to be a fun NFL draft. But there's a guy in my drafts that I've had in my drafts for a long time. I'll give you guys a second to think about it. It's going to make sense. Jackson Holiday, right? I've had Jackson Holiday in my drafts for a long time. Why? Because if he would have generated a little bit more hype during the spring, if he would have broke camp with the Orioles, these would be flying off the shelves with my Cheerios and my Brooks Lees right now, even though Brooks Lee didn't break camp. I just wanted to move out of Brooks Lee, but because he just doesn't, I don't know when he's coming up, right? But Cheerio broke camp. Wyatt Langford broke camp. His prices are moving up. I'm going to profit on my Wyatts. Hopefully you guys are too. Shout out Lefty Cards. But Jackson Holiday cards haven't really done what we thought they were going to do. And so they're in my drafts. But the reason why they were in my drafts is because if they started to do what we thought they were going to do, because every day in the hobby from a pricing standpoint is completely different. Every minute, right? Every minute is different. So at any minute, Jackson Holiday cards over the last 4 weeks and any day now, by the way, could be bananas, right? It could go bananas for Jackson Holiday any minute. But because it hasn't, I haven't listed any of them, but I've been ready to list in drafts. That means wherever I am, I've got my phone. All I have to do is open up the eBay app and list it. Go from draft to live. Okay. But let's talk about Jackson Holiday real quick, right? Because Jackson Holiday did not break camp with the Orioles. And I love pattern recognition. And what's the pattern here? Well, if you've been following us long enough, this is going to start to make a lot of sense for you. Because we've compared, not from a playing standpoint, not player to player, because their games are very different. But their rise to hobby stardom, their hobby hype rise, their ascension of hype in the hobby and pricing are similar. Ellie De La Cruz and Jackson Holiday. And now what I really like about this, everybody, is their pattern in terms of when we thought they were going to get called up and when they might get called up are even more similar. Because 1 year ago, Ellie De La Cruz did not break camp with the Cincinnati Reds. He had a little injury and they sent him down to rehab his injury and they brought him up in early July, right? Could the same thing happen with Jackson Holiday? Jackson Holiday's not injured. He played well. He got rave reviews in the spring from the media. and from the Orioles camp, but he didn't make the major league roster. So they're sending him down. And what we've noticed in his pricing is that this could be a buying pocket for Jackson Holliday. All right? A buying pocket. This is not an L. This is not an L for the overall Jackson Holliday play that we've talked about for about the last year. Because even though we could have sold, like, depending on the card, let's use this PSA 9 base auto out of 2022 Bowman draft as an example. And the same pattern is with this PSA 10. But that's a good example. And raw too, right? So we could have sold it being the PSA 9 auto, a few weeks ago-ish for around $750. And we all bought in around the $400 or $500 mark. I say that because I know that's what we've talked about on this show and what we've put out at nooffseason.com in terms of buying messaging for Jackson Holliday and what cards we've been talking about most for him. But obviously there's like the PSA 10 refractor, non-auto, and other cards, right, that we've said are good investments. So we could have sold Jackson Holliday a little bit earlier and made a little bit more money. And now from that point, the cards are down a little bit. Okay. The 2022 Bowman draft PSA 10 Chrome Auto first is up 1.8% over the last 30 days. So from where it was, even though it's up 1.8%, it's down a little bit. So the PSA 9 is down from where it was, right? The PSA 9 is down from where it was. It's down 13.1%. It's selling for around $565. The PSA 9 2022 Bowman Draft Chrome Auto first of Jackson Holliday. But again, that card sold for $718 at the end of February and for $700 in mid-March. So that's down now, last sale $565. Most of us, myself included, bought in around $450 raw, had it graded at PSA, or you bought the PSA 9 around $550. So you're doing well. But my point is, if you're holding him, keep holding until he actually gets called up. And I'm going to explain why, even more of my case why in a second. And if you're like me and you're still bullish on him, buy more. And I think these are the two cards to buy more of. And there are auctions right now on eBay. All you have to do, though, go to nooffseason.com, go to the sports card rankings. We've updated them. And find Jackson Holliday, because we added him back in after the news that he did not break camp with the Orioles. We analyzed his pricing. We being Connor and I back in the lab, of course. And we updated the rankings over the weekend, yesterday. Fresh off the presses for you, listeners of the Sports Card Strategy Show. Go to nooffseason.com. Find the auctions we're talking about. Bid in them. And yes, you're bidding against each other. I know, blah, blah, blah. But whatever. The sports card market is enormous, guys. It's enormous. And I know the nooffseason.com fam is enormous, but the nooffseason.com fam is 0.0001% of the entire sports card market. Enormous. So we're not cannibalizing each other here. There's more than enough Jackson Holliday cards to go around. Trust me. Go find yourself one. Visit our planet rankings. Check out auctions. And remember, last year, Elly De La Cruz did not break camp until July. He did not break camp. He wasn't called up until July 8th. So here's the data on Elly De La Cruz and why I think this is important pattern recognition for Jackson Holliday. Because when you look at Elly De La Cruz, his 2022 Bowman Chrome First Prospect Auto PSA 9, same card as the one that I'm bullish on for Holliday. Elly's first is out of Bowman Chrome 2022. Holliday's is out of Draft, which came out a little bit later that year. But Elly was the number one overall prospect last year, just like Holliday has been this year. And his card, the PSA 9 Auto first, sold for $300 on April 30th after he was sent to the minors. All right. It sold for $999 after the call-up announcement. $999 after the call-up announcement. His PSA 10 of the same card, 2022 Bowman Chrome First Prospect Auto, sold for $625 on April 16th after he was sent to the minors. It sold for $1,360 on July 6th call-up. It sold for $1,630. That's about $300 more a week later post call-up after he hit some bombs. So the pattern is we don't want you to necessarily bank on Holiday debuting and hitting bombs like Ellie did. But what we want you to do is buy into Holiday a little bit more right now. Because Chase Krim and Lefty talked about this on Lefty Cards last week before they knew that Holiday didn't break camp with the Orioles. So I've come in and added this on the back of what they said on Lefty Cards last week. Chase said Ellie De La Cruz's prices dipped. And that's when he bought in that April, May, June, where Ellie was in the minors. And then when Ellie got the call up, he sold and he made a lot of money, just like a lot of other people that follow our show. Now, Chase is independent. He's got his own great strategies, but Chase follows our show. And so we're in sync, right? So we want you guys to take advantage of not only were Chase and Lefty and I starting to think, who could be this next guy that we could follow this Ellie pattern with? Boom! Jackson Holiday's the guy. The number one guy that we've all been buying. Perfect. Just go buy more. Let me know, guys, how you do on this, but I think it's a no-brainer. And I think you're going to make a lot of money on Jackson Holiday if you go all in, like Krim did last year. And yeah, we might bid against each other a little bit if we're all going to nooffseason.com. We're all following the Sports Card Strategy Show. But I really think there's more than enough Jackson Holiday cards to go around. And we're still buying the right card for the right player at the right time, which means we're going to make money. All right, so up next, I know one thing that this show is famous for is who's next, right? Who is next? Because a lot of other content creators, podcasts, YouTubers in the hobby basically just talk about what's already happened. And to me, that stuff's boring. Like, this stuff happened in the world, Ohtani, blah, 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 interpreter. Like, I'm not listening to the other shows, but I would venture to guess if you guys told me and you're listening to the other shows, what are they talking about? March Madness and their brackets? Who cares? Ohtani and the interpreter, which we've already read the story a billion times. Why would I talk about that? Now, maybe there's an Ohtani strategy, right? But I want to talk about what's next from a prospect rankings perspective. That's what we're here for. I think when I look at the MLB Top 100, I'm trying to gauge who, when they update this list, who's going to accelerate to number one. And what's interesting is, off the back of the Jackson Holiday discussion, he's going to be there for a long time because I don't think they remove people from this list until after they've been in the MLB for a certain amount of time, right? So you're going to see Holiday still be at number one now, but you're going to see Churio move off the list probably the next time it's updated. You're going to see probably Evan Carter move off the list the next time it's updated. You might see Junior Caminero moved off the list rather, because he debuted last year. You might see Wyatt Langford moved off the list the next time it's updated. So who does that leave? It leaves Holiday. It might leave Paul Skeens. Although Paul Skeens, according to MLB.com, has a projected arrival date of 2024. And Dylan Cruz has a projected arrival date of 2024 in the majors. Here's where I'm going. The top 7 prospects on the MLB Top 100 right now have an arrival date of 2024. The 9th prospect, Colson Montgomery, has an arrival date of 2024. The top guy who does not have an arrival date of 2024 is Ethan Salas of the San Diego Padres. So I'd venture to bet that at some point in the future, maybe not the next time this list is updated, but maybe the time after that, that Ethan Salas, currently a 17-year-old catcher for the San Diego Padres, could shoot up to the top of this list as the number 1 or the number 2 overall prospect. Why is that relevant? Because that is probably when his pricing is going to explode to the moon. And I want you guys to buy in before then, right? And so, again, what have I done? I've gone into the lab. I've updated the player rankings at nooffseason.com, the sports card rankings. Does anyone else in the hobby have sports card rankings that actually rank sports cards based on what the top buys are, based on guideline strategies and plays to make money? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know because I don't really pay attention to anyone else's content that much. I mean, the nooffseason.com fam that puts out content like Ziggy, the golf card collector, Andy Kaysen, Lefty Cards. Of course. Southern Soccer Idiot. Yeah, for sure. But not many others. Maybe a little sports card investor, market movers, my guy Teapot, Jeff. Love all those guys. Doug, shout out. But probably not many other people. Anyway, talk about people that don't need me shouting them out. Jeff Wilson. But I do love Jeff Wilson. Anyway, enough about that. Ethan Salas, nooffseason.com. Go there. Check out Ethan Salas's player rankings page. We have profiles now, player profiles. We brought them back. Thanks to everybody who hit me up and said, bring back the player profiles at nooffseason.com. They're back. And there's Ethan Salas deals, cards to buy, his first prospect auto PSA 10 sleeper card is moving up the rankings. I'm loving myself some Ethan Salas. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Anyone in the live chat, I'm starring you. We're going to talk to you later in the show. Up next is a phenomenal behind-the-scenes tour. It's real quick, so stay with me, of CGC Cards with my guy Andy Kaysen, my other guy Andy Broom. CGC grading process, behind-the-scenes tour of one of the top grading companies in the hobby. Let's go. What do we got here? Everybody, Paul Hickey here with nooffseason.com and the Sports Card Strategy Show. I'm with my guy AC, Andy Kaysen from Football Card Quest.
Yeah, guys, we're here on the production floor of CGC Cards, where they do everything from eBay authentication to sports card grading to slabbing over here. So we're going to learn all about this process, how we get those gold label pristine 10s from A to Z. Let's dig in.
Let's go. So we're just going to have Andy Broom walk us through the entire grading process from when a card gets to CGC Cards all the way until it goes back out to the customer.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start with mail, right? So we, Certified Collectibles Group is so large, we're our own post office. Our zip code is a post office. So every package that you send to us comes directly to our building, doesn't go to a mail facility. So when a package comes in, it's received by one of our receivers. They'll open the package, verify the number of cards, and get the customer's information, get it entered into our system. At that point, the customer's information is removed from the submission. The cards are cataloged in our system, and they move on to verification. Verification is simply where the team there will verify what the information is. They'll verify against the customer's information and then against our database. If there's a discrepancy in the card description, that's where it'll be changed. From that point, it goes to grading. The graders will receive the submission. They'll grade the card, enter in the information into our system. And then we have the labels printed. We have labels printed at this point because we do a QC process where we actually go over the labels themselves. At that time, once that's complete, the labels and the cards are then sent to encapsulation. So the cards are encapsulated, and then they're imaged front and back. Every card we've ever graded is imaged front and back. That can be found on the cert verification page for each card. Once the cards are encapsulated, they will be QC'd a final time for the final product. and then that product, which is the graded card, goes into the box and back home to the submitter.
So here we have CGC's top secret slab automation machine. Andy Broom has been kind enough to let us get a close-up sneak peek of what is going on here. But Andy, why is this machine so important to CGC's process?
Yeah, look, we're always looking for new innovations, new ways to not only speed up a process, but also to ensure a safe process, safe for collectibles, safe for the users. And so this is a great example of our innovation. So this is slab automated right here. This is encapsulation and imaging all in one machine.
And the consistency.
That's right. That's right. Consistency is important not only for the grading like we talked about, but the product itself. And so a consistent weld, a consistent holder, consistent product every time. That's what our customers expect.
So major part of CGC's process here is security. As you guys can see, there is advanced video surveillance above every single grading station on this production floor. So we're just leaving the CGC studios, guys, and I'll tell you, security here is top notch. I mean, there was bag searches in and out. There's advanced high-tech video surveillance, access control everywhere. So
shout out AC from Football Card Quest. You can see he's about a foot taller than me in that video. And Andy Broom, what a great guy to give us the tour, the whole CGC team. Shout out Lindsay and everybody else that we worked with at CGC on our behind the scenes tour. That top secret slab automation machine was badass, I have to say. So we tried to take as much footage of that as they would allow. All right. Why should you subscribe to nooffseason.com's premium membership? Do you like the content on this show? Want more? A free 30-day trial membership at nooffseason.com gives you a Friday edition of this show called The Overflow Show. It's a premium podcast for members only every Friday, and you can ask an unlimited amount of questions to build your sports card investment portfolio, and I answer them for you. I put in the work, the research, and do the analysis to give you the best possible answer so you can increase your chances of making money flipping sports cards. And if that's not enough reason to sign up for a free 30-day trial today, you also get Sports Card School and tons of premium members only articles. Sign up today at nooffseason.com. All right. Paul's pickups. I want to talk about my pickups. Who am I picking up? I think this is always kind of a good way to tell you guys my strategy at any given point in time. And I just share my purchases from eBay with you. So I just won in an auction on March 22nd, a Breece Hall 2022 Panini Prism rookie autograph no huddle raw. Looks gradable. Won it for all in $75. So I'll get that soon and I'll include it in a grading submission to PSA. A Carson Beck 2023 Bowman Chrome University auto out of $499. Looked gradable from the photos. All in, I like the price on this one because it's a refractor out of $499 auto. All in, $94.12. Good price. And as you can see, for those of you watching on youtube.com/Paul Hickey, I am being outbid constantly on the Jackson Holiday PSA 9 autos that I've bid on. And it's probably some of you guys in the live chat. So good on you. Go outbid me because, one of us is going to win that for a reasonable price that we're going to make money on. And I love it. So why should you sign up for our one-on-one strategist package now? Because me helping you one-on-one with your buying and selling strategy for a full year will help you make money flipping sports cards. And you're going to have a lot of fun. You're going to have a lot of fun because you're going to make the right decisions to keep you in the hobby, enjoying the hobby. It's not all about making money, even though wink, wink, it kind of is. It's also about having fun, but making money is having fun. And so if you want to work directly with me, there are spots open available now. As we are approaching April, spots have opened. Email paul@nooffseason.com now to lock it up. All right, I want to talk real quick about PSA yanking their membership fee up. How do you guys feel about this? I want to know how do you feel about PSA yanking their membership fee up? I think on one hand, like, what choice do we have? On the other hand, we kind of got a lot of choices because you don't have to be a Collectors Club member to submit cards at PSA. Granted, you get some special pricing. You get probably a little quicker turnaround time on some service levels. You're going to get some service levels that aren't available to other non-members, but the standard price increasing is not trivial. They're increasing it from $99 to $149. Now, when you spread this out over the course of a year, it's just a couple dollars a month. So it's kind of like Netflix jacking up their price to, from $19.99 a month to $21 a month or whatever. PSA is kind of like got you by the balls a little bit. They're saying that they're increasing the value. They're adding value starting with store credit to Fanatics Live. So Fanatics Live is a new partner with PSA, and you get a premium credit of $125 or a standard credit of $60. And this is the same for new, renewing, and existing members. So you also get exclusive pricing on TCG bulk grading at $14.99 a card. And I guess this is interesting. The value bulk grading is going down to $8. It's going down $1. So that's interesting, because if you this could actually end up being cheaper now that I think about it. But let me know what you guys think, because like value bulk, I mean, all you have to do is submit 50 cards. And you end up breaking even on the price hike. So interesting. Annual recurring revenue for Nat Turner. What a great CEO. Annual recurring revenue for Nat Turner. And I want to know what you guys think. So PSA, more value, higher pricing, but the $1 a card less on the value bulk. So if you're submitting hundreds of cards per year, like I definitely am, and most of you probably are, if you are following our plays here at the Sports Card Strategy Show and nooffseason.com, it could end up being less money for the year. So interesting. Let me know what you think in the comments. And we're going to go over to a happy story now. One of our premium members, Scott Mateer, submitted a video. His boys, his young sons, got the premium pack in the mail because as of now, and we might be changing this up in the future, but as of now, if you renew your free 30-day trial at nooffseason.com, you get a free premium pack mailed out pretty much right away. Within 2 or 3 business days, we mail it out, which means you probably get it within a week. But the Mateer boys, young sports card strategists, pulled a big one and they got pumped. So Tyler pulled a Wemby Magician card out of one of the packs, and Tyler and his brother were freaking out. Let's see the video.
Thanks, Paul. And for the Wemby.
Pulled a Wemby. Nice work, Tyler. Way to go, buddy. Scott, thanks for sharing that with us. And we love all of our premium members at nooffseason.com and every single member of the nooffseason.com family. Even if you're not a premium member, we love you too. All right. Speaking of premium members, Ryan Painter. We talked about this on last week's show. He won a big card that Graybo's pulled out of a break. He won a Chet Holmgren True NT RPA out of 25, valued at about a $5,000 card. And he said, look, I want to reward the entire nooffseason.com family by having one lucky member win a $250 Graybo's gift card. So he has bought a $250 Graybo's gift card to kind of support Graybo's as well. And we're going to talk in a second about how we're going to give this $250 gift card away. But I want to hand things over to Ryan Painter right now to tell us more about this Chet Holmgren card and his experience in hitting Graybo's break huge. Ryan, take it away, man.
Sports Card Strategy Show. What's going on, guys? It is Ryan Painter, and love being part of the family. And because I was part of the family, I got to hear about this giveaway, trying to help Graybos get on Fanatics Live. Fired up that they got on Fanatics Live. Even more fired up when the guys at Graybos reached out and said, did you see the break? Which I didn't even know that it was in the break. And then this happened. Boom! It's a 5K card, folks. Last 3 sales are 5K, 5,600, and 5,900. Chet NT pink out of 25. So here's my question for you, Paul. What do I do with this? I always labeled myself as the $20 autograph guy, $20 and under. So $5K, not really sure what I'm doing here. So my options are I can go PSA. I know that I want to get it back quickly if I'm going to grade it, because I'm thinking that first round of the playoffs, which is about a month away. That's when I want to be able to unleash this card. But I'm thinking either, what do I do, guys? Do I go PSA? If I do Express, it's like $500. I go BGS, which I hear is better for fat cards, and that's going to be about 120, I think, something like that, and I'll get it back in plenty of time. Or do I just like leave it as? So check this out here. As you can see, I think this side is a little fatter than this side. So I know that's the back. So I'm not expecting no like super 10s or anything like that. So Sports Card Strategy, help me out. What should I do? Also, wanted to give a big thank you to Graybos and Sports Card Strategy. And I'm a big, kind of pay it forward type of guy here. So I just wanted to say thank you. And I thought, what's a way I could give back here a little bit? So what I'm going to do is I have purchased a digital gift card to Graybos. Try to help out Graybos and all those folks there. So $250 gift card to Graybos. But I want to give it to someone away. I want to give it away to someone on this show, on the Tunes in the Sports Card Strategy, part of the No Offseason Network. And so Paul and Connor, take it away. Whatever you guys want to do. I got $250 in a digital gift card. However you guys want to give that away. Let's give it back to you guys, because there's no way I ever would have been winning this bad boy if I weren't listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show.
Love you, Ryan Painter. Great story. I never foresaw any of this stuff happening when I started this show. It just amazes me every day doing this show and running this business. Just makes me so happy that all of you are enjoying yourselves so much. These things happening that I have no idea are happening, and then I learn about them later, and they're happy things. So let's break this down. First, what should Ryan Painter do with the card? We've got a lot of great stuff in the live chat. Some people are saying grade with BGS because of the thick patch cards. Most people are saying sell that card immediately. Here's what I would do. I would not grade with BGS because BGS just does not sell as well on the secondary market as a PSA slab and label. And so we want to sell this thing right away, Ryan. And so also astute audience members like Shane Graham and Luke Menchel are pointing out that it's a little bit off-centered, looks a little bit off-centered. So my gut reaction when I first heard this was that Ryan should submit this to PSA for the quickest possible turnaround time and just have it authenticated. Just have the card authenticated. And that way you've got a PSA holder and label, right? And then you're in a situation where you can sell it easily on eBay. You can sell it easily in person. I would not sell it at a big auction house. I would not use PWCC. I would either sell it on eBay in a buy it now or best offer, or an auction during the playoffs with a freakishly high opening bid, or I would sell it in person at, $5K, right? But either way, you're going to be in a position where the buyer can feel good about the fact that it's in a PSA holder. And I think you would be hurting yourself a little bit if you grade this card, but not if you just have it authentic. So almost treat this, even though it's not the triple logo man that got PSA authentic, I think I'd go PSA authentic. But there's a lot of disagreement, I will say, and I respect everyone's opinion. Luke Menchel does say, I hate to disagree with you on PSA versus BGS, Paul. If you grade it BGS, you could potentially get a 9 or a 9.5 on a PSA card that is an 8, especially with thick cards. Joe Newell is in the house, says that's pretty cool. Nice to see a new name, Joe Newell. What's up, my man? We're going to shout out everybody at the end of the show if we haven't shouted you out yet. But yeah, I think the punchline is, Ryan, I don't think you can go wrong. I think you're going to make around 5K with this card regardless, but I would go PSA authentic, not have them grade it, just authentic holder, authentic label, and auction it off in eBay. during the NBA playoffs, or buy it now or best offer is probably even better than auctioning it. Auctioning it could be a little bit risky on a card that big, or try to move it in person, maybe list it to some trusted Discords and Facebook groups just to get some nips. But if you sell it off of eBay and not in person, then you're definitely going to need to use PayPal goods and services. Do not put yourself in a position where you could get scammed out of that card. But Luke says he would sell it raw. Can't go wrong. Is an awesome card. I agree. Ultimately, I don't think you can go wrong, Ryan, but my final answer is PSA authentic. Luke's final answer and others in the live chat is grade with BGS. Either way, try to get it back right away and move it during the NBA playoffs. All right, how can you win the $250 gift card from Graybos, courtesy of Ryan Painter? Number one, there's a bunch of different things that you're going to have to do. Number one, comment on this video at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Number two, comment on our pinned post on IG. Number three, email screenshots of your comments, of both of those comments, and proof that you're following us on YouTube and Instagram to paul@nooffseason.com. Oh, by the way, if you include a screenshot of your premium membership order at nooffseason.com, along with those screenshots of your comment, your pinned post, and your proof of following us on YouTube and Instagram. And this is for all of you on Apple and Spotify too, by the way. If you include your premium membership order at nooffseason.com, the one where you've paid, not the one where you've had a free 30-day trial, you will get 5 entries into this Wheel of Names spin. And if you do not include your premium membership order, you will get 1 entry. So this is our way of basically giving everybody a chance, whether you're a premium member or not, at nooffseason.com, to engage with us on social media by commenting on this video, commenting on our pinned post on IG at Sports Card Strategy, emailing paul@nooffseason.com, proof of everything. If you're a nooffseason.com premium paid member, you'll get 5 entries. If you're not a paid member, you'll get 1 entry. We will do a Wheel of Names, and the winner will be announced next Monday. So you have 1 week to do it. Winner will be announced next Monday on April 1st. And this is not, I repeat, it is not an April Fool's Day joke. Next Monday, April 1st, we're coming back at our normal time for those of you watching live on youtube.com/Paul Hickey, 1 p.m. Eastern time. All right. Up next, I want to hand things over to our very own Connor Barnett and the golf card collector, host of Fondling Cardboard, Mike LaCusta, to talk about the Masters preview. Because why? We are ahead of the game, not behind it. Take it away, guys.
Mike LaCusta, a.k.a. Fondling Cardboard, thanks so much for being here with me this morning. How are we doing?
Doing great. What's up, Connor?
Not a whole lot. I'm excited to talk some golf with you today. We don't have a ton of golf-specific episodes, but with the Masters coming up in just a couple of weeks, April 11th through April 14th, we've got some stuff to talk about, particularly as it relates to the sports card market, and I'm excited to have you on here. We've talked a lot about how passionate you are with golf cards, and you could read a lot of information off, and we got some good stuff for the listeners, so I'm ready to hop into things. Like I mentioned, Thursday, April the 11th, will be the first day of the Masters. Kind of kicks off our major tournament season in terms of the golf world. And majors, of course, are interesting to see as of late, with the live golf players kind of mixing in with the PGA guys, as that's kind of the only time they get to do so. Curious to get your take on what you think the Masters does for golf card prices. Do you expect the hype to do anything to kind of increase prices? What are your thoughts there?
100%. I mean, the Masters is at the beginning of the golf season, so it's hard for people who collect other sports to understand that it basically is like the Super Bowl of golf. So I guess golf runs it front heavy with their events. And then obviously major season starts with the Masters, and that carries through June or July. And then after that, we've got the playoffs for the FedEx Cup. Live golf follows, I guess, a similar schedule, like in terms of times of the year. So if you were to look at like a seasonality, football, for example, fall, things ramp up. And then after a month or two, you start to figure out who the breakouts are, and their prices have kind of jumped and started to settle. Whereas once you get into February, March, then things reach a climax and then kind of fall off a cliff. Right now in golf, we're just basically petering up that roller coaster. And I think prices, I mean, I don't talk investing, flipping all that often. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. You know, I only really look for, I guess, value for building my PC and buying cards at the right price, which is, I guess, what investors and flippers do as well. So yeah, I think right now prices have already started to go up, and I think Masters is going to be a great time for people to sell.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So when we obviously you're very well versed in the golf world. When we talk about Masters favorites, that's something that me and Paul kind of look at in terms of trying to buy guys, maybe flyer picks, obviously from the investment side, maybe flyer picks that can perform well and get performance-based hype, induce spikes there. But from your end, who are your favorites for the Masters and why?
Well, you mentioned flyer picks. Now, flyers are not going to be the favorites. So I'll start with favorites and then let's get into some flyers. But,
Sure.
you know, and I'll separate this by live and PGA. So starting with the bad guys, so to speak, the live guys that I would say have the best shot, obviously Brooks Koepka is the modern day. Well, I actually don't even know who to compare him to, but maybe like a Gary Player. Like he's got, I think, 5 majors, and you know he doesn't look like he's done. So never count Brooks Koepka out. Unfortunately, he doesn't have a great selection of cards. Basically, just a Sports Illustrated for Kids card. Of course, that will change once the Panini releases start coming out, and that's one of the reasons I'm most excited. Is that Brooks Koepka is a phenomenal golfer. He's controversial, which comes with a limelight. So there will always be eyes on him. And we're going to start getting some pretty nice sets of his cards. Joaquin Niemann, although not a significant player so far in the majors, I would say is maybe top 6 player in the world. And that obviously doesn't show up in the world rankings list because live players don't get world rankings points. However, he has been busting his butt. He's not taking the typical live golfer route of taking this fat paycheck and playing in like 10 events a year and just living the easy life. He's traveling around the world. He's playing, I forget exactly what tours he's been on, but he's playing whenever he can on in Asian tours and all around the world. Certainly caught the eye because he received an invitation to play in the Masters, even though he didn't have meet the formal requirements. And he's, I think, got one of the better chances of winning it. Now, if you want to get into flyers,
I want to go through the first 2 guys you mentioned. I love both of those picks, starting with Niemann. I think he fired a 59 in Mexico just a couple of weekends ago. Definitely has the game. He's got a really controlled swing. And I think he moves it both ways pretty well, which at Augusta obviously is something you look for. I know obviously it favors a draw off the tee for right-handed players, but he's just got the complete bag, in my opinion. Short games, precise putts, rolls the ball well, and really long off the tee and straight. And then obviously, like you're saying, Brooks Koepka is just hard to bet against. Finished second last year at Augusta after holding the 54-hole lead. He's kind of that just major dominant guy that you just expect to show up and perform well at all majors that you see. So love both of those picks from you. But let's roll into your favorites.
Right on. And by the way, another guy, Phil Mickelson, you know, he tied with Brooks for second at Masters. Now, I don't think he's going to do a repeat like that, whereas I think Brooks has a good chance. And then, you know what, before I actually get into the flyers, the other favorites I have obviously are from the PGA Tour, arguably, you know, top tier tour in the world. So Augusta's a super tough course. And I think somebody who's performed really well there in the past is probably going to have a good chance. And obviously Scotty Scheffler is world number 1. He won the Masters last year. He's in phenomenal form. He just came off a win at the Players. Some might say it was a bit of a lucky win, but regardless, it was a really exciting tournament to watch. He had 3 guys nipping at the heels, came from behind. He was not the overnight leader. Shot like a 64 in a final round. So this is the kind of guy who can run away with the show, and with that proven track record. But other than him, a couple international golfers that I think are going to be right at the top of the leaderboard. As a Canadian, I've always got my eye on Corey Connors as well as the rest of the Canadians. The reason I pick him is that he has that track record. I think he's qualified for the Masters, I think for four years in a row. If we dial it back to his first appearance, he did not qualify up until about, I think, 3 or 4 days before the Masters week really starts on that Monday, and he was a Monday qualifier. I think was at the Valero Texas Open. Regardless, he was a Monday qualifier for that PGA event, and then he won the PGA event in order to get into the Masters. So talk about from rags to riches type of scenario, and then he ended up sticking around top of the leaderboard. Basically, I think 3 out of the 4 years he's played there. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I want to say, if my memory's right, about maybe 2 top 10 finishes, really strong chances. And the neat thing about Corey Connors is that 2024 Upper Deck Golf does have him, as well as, I believe, the upcoming Upper Deck Golf releases. So he's actually got some legit cards coming out, whereas Scotty Scheffler obviously isn't going to have those Panini cards because he's on the PGA Tour, not on Live. Scotty has never been included in any Upper Deck or Leaf releases. So, Scotty's someone we got to get a Sports Illustrated for Kids card, similar to John Rahm and a few other amazing golfers. And then lastly, to finish off my international picks, Hideki Matsuyama. And I'm not picking these guys because I'm international. I don't live in the US. I'm picking these guys because I think they truly do have the best shot. Hideki shot something insane, like a 61 or 62 or something like that, to win at, I think it was the Genesis about a month ago, when Tiger Woods made his season debut. And Hideki just surprises everyone. Looking back at the players, I saw him near the top, maybe 11th or something like that. So I think he's got an amazing shot. Also a past Masters winner.
I love it. Yeah, good picks all around, I think. And one of the reasons I'm obviously so big on Scotty is the stats that we've seen show that relative to the field, he's having about as an elite year and run of last few months of ball striking as Tiger Woods did in 2001, right? So, and then you pair that with the fact that in the last 2 weeks, after Rory McIlroy said he needs to switch to a mallet, Scotty switches to a mallet and wins back-to-back weeks. Yeah, tough to bet against Scotty there. Love the pick of Corey Connors. Like I mentioned, a guy that draws the ball off the tee, hits it accurately off the tee. He is currently 17th in strokes gained off the tee. So I love the pick there from Corey Connors as well. Very straight. So yeah, interesting picks there. I think that we got to find a way to get Scotty Scheffler a card that's worth investing in, right? What is that going to take? What do you think we'll see one from Scotty?
Man, I don't know. I've talked about this before on my podcast, The Fondling Cardboard. And Upper Deck just needs to figure out how to do a deal at the tour level as a league, similar to other sports like baseball, football, and etc. If they can, through, let's say, the Players Association or whatever, because they're obviously not employees, they're independent contractors. Perhaps that's up for debate as well. But if somehow they can get the rights to name, image, and likeness of their tour members, and this doesn't have to be every player that has played on the PGA Tour or is currently playing in their events. It just has to be people who have a tour card. And if they can get just the name, image, and likeness, that's all they need. We just want cards. They don't have to be autographs. And that's the biggest thing, is these guys are demanding high compensation. And they don't want to sit there for 10 hours signing thousands of autographs. And I get that. All we want is some cards, some young guns, maybe some gold parallels, whatever. And I guess you asked me, when's that going to happen? I don't have a prediction. I really hope that what Panini is doing might kick Upper Deck into action. And they might start to realize that it's not just about, getting 20 of the top 100 in the world, that they have to get everybody.
Yeah, well said. And speaking of guys that don't necessarily have cards right now, we're hoping to get cards from a lot of guys, but there are a lot of notables that I think have a good chance of winning the Masters this year that don't have cards. Who are some of your picks and notables to look out for that don't necessarily have cards yet, but have a good shot at taking home that trophy?
The hottest prospect in golf right now is Ludwig Oberg. I always mispronounce his name in my past podcasts. I call him Ludwig Aberg. So it's Ludwig Oberg. I forget where he's from, one of those Norway or Sweden or something like that. But this time last year, he was an absolute nobody. He was playing, I believe, college golf. He's in his early 20s and qualified for, I forget what event, and ended up winning a PGA event in one of his first showings. Only played, I think, in like maybe 12 events or less last year on the PGA Tour, and somehow was in the running for Rookie of the Year. And that's compared to guys like Eric Cole, who you grinded out like 30 something events. So I just look at Ludwig as the hottest prospect in golf. Obviously no cards yet because he's a youngin'. Whereas somebody like Xander Schauffele, it's obscene, an Olympic winner, an Olympian, not only Olympian, but a gold medal winner at the Olympics. He's been around for a long time. I don't know what his rookie season is, but I would guess maybe 8 years ago or more. Always, top 20-ish player in the world. Sometimes he broke into the top 10 at times, and he only has that Sports Illustrated for Kids card. This is a guy who I don't understand how Upper Deck doesn't have his rights. Like I said, doesn't have to be autographs, but just cards in general. Now, in terms of winning the Masters, he always seems to fall short. He never crosses the finish line to win events. I mean, he's got some wins on tour, but it seems like on the big stage, he drops the baton, using some Olympic slang there. And so he'd be a good pick for those of you who play daily fantasy sports, but I wouldn't necessarily choose him as the outright winner. And then lastly, on the PGA Tour, we got Wyndham Clark, who has been around for a little while, but he really didn't receive much hype early on. I think he's one of these guys, actually sort of like Brooks Koepka, who eased their way onto tour. I don't know exactly how he made it, whether it was Corn Ferry Tour or Web.com Tour or whatever it was at the time when he was playing, and just sort of sat kind of middle of the leaderboard on most events, and somehow just with his not only breakout win at the US Open, so he's now a major winner, but just ran away with it, just crushed the field. And he did the same thing within the last couple months at Pebble Beach. I forget exactly what he shot, but it was like a 60 even or something like that. The tournament was cut short because of weather, but he's been playing incredible. And then obviously tied second after Scotty at the Players last week. So Wyndham, I don't believe, has any cards, not even a Sports Illustrated for Kids. He's not in the upcoming releases. It's too bad to see some of these guys. Now, I'll mention a couple live golfers, and then I'll let you report on everything I just said. So Taylor Gooch, he's the hottest player that nobody cares about. So he won the Live Championship. He's their Player of the Year. He won event after event at Live. And I don't even know if he qualifies for the Masters. He's beating some of the best names in golf, the guys that play on Live. And other than golf nerds like us, nobody really knows him or gives it two cents about who he is. And then Bryson DeChambeau, he's always performing well on Live Tour, and he shoots a 58 at Greenbrier. He's got some amazing investable cards. So what do you say, Connor?
Yeah, a ton of good stuff here, as expected. Ludwig, another thing I wanted to add there is that he ended up making the Ryder Cup team, right? So he kind of has that extra level of experience, and kind of, you look at guys his age potential, you're like, okay, he's young, maybe he doesn't know how to win yet. He knows how to compete. He played against some of the top players in the world on one of the biggest stage for one of the most exciting events in golf. So I really like that pick there. And then Wyndham Clark, I don't know how much you've been keeping up with the Full Swing stuff that came out, but he basically had an episode dedicated strictly to him and his mental health, and how that kind of transformed his game. That was really, really interesting episode to watch there. So I'm a big Wyndham Clark guy at the moment, and hoping that strong play continues. It really seems like kind of kicking into gear for him was all mental, not really changing his swing or a physical thing there. So got to love that pick as well there. Bryson, yeah. I mean, you can't count Bryson out. It seems like, and I'm curious to see your thoughts here, it seems like he's kind of found that happy medium between just being a massive bodybuilder trying to hit at 450 and still kind of keeping some of that finesse and touch in his game. It seems like he's kind of in that middle ground, which makes me kind of like where his game's at. And he's actually, I can't believe I'm saying this, seems to be more likable the last few months, whether it's just because he's not in our face all the time, but whatever it may be there. So a lot of good names there. And also, I know you've got some dark horses for us. So let's talk dark horses, guys that maybe haven't quite broken through, but could see their career really take on a different trajectory pending a good performance at Augusta this year.
Yeah, I'll actually kick off with a name that I didn't have on my list originally, but since you brought up like mental health with Wyndham Clark, Joel Damon is a guy who was on the first season of Full Swing, and he's an extremely likable guy, which is important when it comes to cards. wasn't the kind of golfer who would have ever had a card in the past. However, Full Swing really brought him into the limelight, and he just came tied 11th at the Players, so really good showing. And he does have cards in the 2024 Upper Deck sets, so I just wanted to throw him out there as an honorable mention. But getting into my actual top 3 kind of dark horses from the PGA Tour, Sahith Theegala. He's not exactly flying under the radar. A lot of guys have him on their lists when it comes to fantasy, when it comes to buying his cards, because he does have some sweet cards out there. 2022, I believe it was, Goodwin Champions. He's got some great cards from there, like the Platinum cards, different parallels. And then he's also got Metal Universe Champions 2022. So he's got PMGs, Retro Star Rubies, all that sort of stuff. And I think that was actually from 2021. So Sahith, second, I've got Maverick McNeely. Now, Maverick is somebody who I think is flying under the radar more so. He's got some amazing cards from the 2021 Upper Deck sets, like Artifacts, SP Game Used, SP Authentic. And, you know, he also performed well at the Players recently. And he's one of these guys who is performing better than the middle of the pack. He's got some good tools in his game. And I think he could, the definition of dark horse in my eyes is he just has to have one showing. He just has to win one big event, and suddenly he's going to be thrust into everybody's eyes. And then lastly, somebody who's totally under the radar, way more so than even Maverick, is Doug Kim. I remember pulling his cards back in 2021 and thinking, who the heck is this guy? And then I saw him playing in an event, and he had a lead after the second round and then just fell down the leaderboard. And, you know, somebody who I think's had an up and down experience on the PGA Tour and has had a good start to his season, super cheap cards. So, you know, someone who I think could easily 4 or 5x if he were to just have some random success.
Yeah, I think Sahith Theegala for me here, like you're saying, he's not necessarily one that's overly under the radar just because of how well he's been playing. But man, he's already got 4 finishes in the top 10 this year, just this year. Wow. Game's really coming along. Looks like he's learning how to win. I think he's someone that's going to be a star on the tour for a long time. And if he performs well at Augusta this year, kind of cements himself as one of those elite guys in the world that people are going to be following and looking after. And if he's got investable cards, man, it could put him in a really good spot for people to make some money off of his prints there.
Right on. You want me to dive into a couple dark horses from Liv?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
So kind of keeping with the mental health line, Joel Damon, Wyndham Clark, another guy that falls into that category is Matthew Wolff. Now, Matthew Wolff is one of these guys who started out as a hot prospect and then just fell off the map. Very, very different than somebody like Wyndham Clark. So although right now he is kind of in that valley when it comes to hype, prices, that sort of stuff, when I look at just any sport, any athlete, what is the recipe for an investable player and somebody who could potentially break out and potentially get a lot more eyes on them? It's somebody who had a lot of hype. Like, speaking in basketball terms, imagine if Zion Williamson were to just suddenly have a couple seasons injury-free and playing at, you know, his peak level like he was when he first joined the NBA. Right. People would be flocking to him and wanting his cards. Now, I'm going to say similarly with Matthew Wolff. He was the NCAA champion. It was a very iconic win for him, put him right on the map, won on the PGA Tour within his first few starts, and it was a really epic win too. It was a 20-something foot eagle putt over Bryson and Colin Morikawa, so was at the time separating himself ahead of a couple of stars who have come out to surpass him since. So I think if Matthew Wolff, even though he's playing on the LIV Tour, if he were to go on a run with some wins, and you know what, I have to be 100% transparent here. I have a massive Matthew Wolff PC. He's one of my favorite players. So, you know, I'm not pumping and dumping. I'm just pumping because I love Matthew Wolff. Next, I'm going to get into a couple guys that I think other people would maybe be more drawn to. So Abraham Answer just won on LIV Tour. He's got some great cards in 2021. He's a really solid player from Mexico. Somebody like that, I would cash out, meaning I would sell his cards if you weren't intending to keep them in your collection as soon as you were to have a big win. Or another thing is that both PGA Tour and LIV Tour typically make a stop in Mexico, and that really thrusts Abraham Answer into the limelight because it would sort of be like his hometown event, and they may showcase him during coverage. They may he just gets a lot of extra hype. So those would be kind of the times to look at selling his cards. And actually, there's a cool personal connection, maybe not personal for me, but for a lot of people where I live. I live in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and there's a small town nearby called Lethbridge in southern Alberta, which is where Abraham Answer's caddy is from. So I know it seems a bit removed in terms of connections, but for those of us up north, we don't get a lot of connections to professional golfers. So just because of that relationship and seeing him on TV and succeeding with Abraham Answer, there are actual Answer collectors where I live. And then lastly, Adrian Meronk. I don't think he has cards. However, he's a Polish golfer, tall guy, can hit it well. In Europe, a popular player. When Ludwig Oberg made the Ryder Cup, there was a lot of controversy in picking him over Adrian Meronk. I think Meronk he's had some success on the European tour, and this is the kind of guy that if he chooses to move to North America, I think he can make a splash on the PGA. So in terms of the Masters, I don't remember if he's qualified or not, but he's somebody who could be on absolutely nobody's radar, who could just magically make a top 10 finish.
Sure. Yeah. Abraham Answer is an interesting one here for me. Even though he only has one PGA Tour win, which was 2021, it was actually at the St. Jude. He's actually performed pretty well in the Masters as he's played in 2020, shot 8 under, finished T13, and then 2021 finished T26. So for someone that doesn't necessarily hit the ball a mile off the tee, he is accurate. He's a competitor. So I really like that pick there. Overall, I think we ran through a bunch of fantastic names here. And I'm excited to see how things do play out. One more name that I would feel awful if I didn't mention was Jordan Spieth, as someone that I believe was a favorite to win every time he tees it up at Augusta. If you run back from all his finishes, 2014 T2, 2015 he won, 2016 T2, 2017 T11, 2018 came in third, 2019 21st, 2020 came in 46th, 2021 T3. He missed the cut in 2022. But, I mean, the track record for Jordan Spieth is always there. It seems like no matter what kind of shape it seems like his game is in, even though it's in that always roller coaster state, I guess, he's going to play well when he gets to Augusta, it feels like. So that's one more name I wanted to mention there. But overall, a bunch of fantastic names from our guy, Mike LaCusta, and excited to see how things play out. Is there anything else you wanted to add in terms of Masters Week?
Not in terms of Masters Week, but I love your pick there of Jordan Spieth. Speaking of guys who hit the scene and running, he was, honestly, the only other golfers I can compare to Jordan at the beginning of their careers would be Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods. Jordan Spieth was the magician from Texas, an incredible golfer up till 2017. Still an incredible golfer, but kind of plateaued in terms of his wins. And I definitely could see a resurgence in his career. He doesn't have a ton of cards, but in 2016, he was in the Topps Chrome and Topps flagship sets in the first pitch insert set. So you could check out, he's got a cool refractor type card from there. He also has Sports Illustrated for Kids, and I think there's a third Jordan Spieth card out there from around the same time frame. I'm not gonna give an exact shout out, but there's a guy out there in the world who I'm continuing to stay connected with, who's got an amazing Jordan Spieth card that I would love to acquire someday. I'm not gonna shout him out because I don't need to flood his inbox, but yeah, I'm working on it. And in terms of Masters Week, I just can't wait to do it. I run a fun Masters pool with friends, coworkers, etc. that I'm going to be incorporating some kind of card, let's say for the winner or the top winners in my pool. And I think it'll be fun because obviously betting isn't legal. So I want to, do some kind of card game with our community. And then lastly, I'm not sure if you were going to ask me to give a shout out, but obviously I'm the podcast host for Fondling Cardboard. You can get that on any of your podcast players, and administrator for the Golf Cards and Memorabilia Facebook group. So although I am passionate about golf cards, and I appreciate you using that word at the beginning of the segment, I'm not going to claim to be the most knowledgeable. There's a bunch of guys in our community that are light years ahead of me when it comes to knowledge of the products, even the sport itself. So for you golf fans out there, come join the group.
Love it. Any socials that you need to plug that you haven't already mentioned for how people can check out your content, follow you, and keep up with you?
For sure. So those ones plus Instagram. So I'm at the Golf Card Collector, and the podcast Instagram is at Fondling Cardboard.
Perfect. Mike, thanks so much for the time today. We appreciate it.
Anytime, Connor.
Mike LaCusta, thanks again, man. That was phenomenal golf card strategy talk right there with Connor Barnett, head of content at nooffseason.com, and Mike LaCusta of Fondling Cardboard at the Golf Card Collector on Instagram. A lot of interest in golf cards in the live chat between John Skeeter Robinson welcoming him in, Luke Menschel and Shane Graham. A lot of knowledge in the live chat as well from those three gentlemen. Thank you so much for your interest in the golf card strategy, and more to come for sure, because there's a lot of opportunity in golf cards. We talked with Jason Howarth, VP of Marketing and Athlete Relations at Panini, I believe SVP actually at Panini a couple of weeks ago, and he gave us some great information on the Live deal, Panini Prism sets, Immaculate sets, and Instant sets coming out soon. So expect more golf cards to hit the market, and certainly is demand. Thanks to Shane Graham in the live chat for sharing his thoughts on the 2024 Upper Deck and who he pulled, and John Skeeter Robinson and Luke Menschel for the details on who and who isn't in that checklist. So for those of you listening on Apple and Spotify, and if you can't make it into the live chat, that's fine. Go to youtube.com/Paul Hickey, and you can watch the live chat back and see what these three gentlemen are dropping in the live chat. And we're going to go over to reasons to collect non-sports cards like Stranger Things with Dustin, the sports card dad. He and I sat down at Culture Collision. So here's a pretty cool interview from Dustin, the sports card dad. Let's see what he has to say about why he's in the hobby and talking a little bit about non-sports card opportunities. Dustin, the sports card dad. Welcome to the Sports Card Strategy Show and the nooffseason.com family. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I can't believe I ran into you here at the show, and bam, here we are.
This is the first time we've actually officially met and said hello to each other and talked.
Yeah, I've been watching for a while.
I really appreciate that. It means a lot to me. And we try to provide value to our audience, helping them make money flipping sports cards. And you provide a lot of value to your audience. You've been doing this a lot longer than I have on your channel, Sports Card Dad. Just give our audience a real quick overview of who you are and what you do on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm Dustin, the Sports Card Dad YouTube channel. I would say I try to hit a variety of different topics, but it's a lot of commentary type talk. So sure, we'll talk about card strategy, but then we'll also talk about hobby news, what's going on with manufacturers and grading companies, and different things with content creators. And so it's really a lot of variety is what I try to hit on, but mostly commentary type content.
Give us some of the highlights and the challenges real quick of your journey as a content creator for the hobby.
Well, I will say, I know as a content creator, there's always challenges, but I did kind of hit it at the right time, which is just flat luck, really, where I was watching content in 2019. I got back into collectibles in 2018. I kind of joked that it was my midlife crisis hit in 2018. And I was watching some content in 19, and then I kept saying, like, I'm going to start my own channel. I really love talking about this stuff. And then in March 2020 is when I started my YouTube channel, and it just so happened to be as the pandemic is starting, a lot of people at home kind of looking for things to watch and listen to. So a little bit of luck in kind of the timing of getting started. But I would just say for content creators, a lot of it's just about finding a passion and a topic and really just grinding it out and just understanding that, you're not going to go from, 1 subscriber to 1 million overnight. A lot of times it's just going to be a very slow grind. But if you love it, then that's the key.
That's amazing. You do a phenomenal job. We highly encourage our audience to check you out. What's the easiest way for them to find you if they're not familiar?
My main platform is YouTube, and that's just the Sports Card Dad on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram at Sports Card Dad, and I'm on Twitter also, the Sports Card Dad, depending on which one. I've noticed there's some crossover, but then completely different audiences depending on which platform, which is wild to me, but that's how it goes.
I noticed the same thing. Okay, so we happen to be talking right now at Culture Collision 2024. We've seen each other at a lot of other card shows. You're set up as a vendor here, correct?
Yes, first-time vendor ever.
First time vendor ever for me as well. How are you liking it so far?
I like the contrast of being on the other side, and not necessarily because I'm buying collections or selling a bunch of cards. It's kind of more fun just to see, that extra viewpoint, because I've walked a lot of shows. I've been a person that's attending, and I'm meeting with people and that sort of thing. But to be able to see the other side, because again, we're talking about hobby commentary on my channel, I kind of need to be on the other side too to understand fully, I think. And so this was an important step to understand the dealer experience. And I brought a very niche set of cards. I collect Stranger Things cards, so it's not only is it non-sports entertainment, but it's a very specific show. And we've had some success, but also it's great just kind of getting feedback from viewers and also just attendees here. So yeah, it's been great.
That's interesting. So in terms of your PC, you collect Stranger Things. Talk me through real quick the decisions that you have to make sometimes being a PCer and then also selling or flipping.
Sure. So my main PC guys on the sports side are Drew Brees and Tom Brady. I'm a football card collector really at heart, but I've got vintage, stuff. I've got Johnny Unitas rookies and a Bart Starr rookie. So I've got a variety, I would say. But my other PC is a family. We watch Stranger Things cards, or Stranger Things the show. And what I noticed with Stranger Things cards, which was nice, was they started in 2018. It's a very specific number of different parallels and things. There's no snakeskin, parallels to chase. It's not 40 different ones. They're very specific autograph colors. So it's easy. It's a very simple and easy checklist. So when the hits pop up on eBay, them. They're there. You've got them kind of, so it just makes it very easy. And also the fact that there's a small collector base, they're inexpensive in comparison to buying Tom Brady cards, which is what I buy, and some of the Breeze cards. So it was kind of a nice change of pace, to be able to have that as a side. And I collect a variety of different things, graded video games and graded comic books. I'm kind of an 80s, 90s nostalgia nerd. And so, this was a way for me to get in on really rare cards that, just because they're not in high demand, Stranger Things cards, I was able to get them at good prices. And then, of course, as those things get more popular, they've appreciated over the last couple of years. And so it ended up being kind of a win-win.
Perfect. Thanks so much for sitting down with me today, Dustin, the Sports Card Dad. Check him out. I want to have you back on the show again soon. So thanks again. Great to see you, man.
Absolutely. Hey, guys, make sure to always check into the Sports Card Strategy Show where there is no off-season.
Boom, nailed it in one take. Love it. You're the man. All right, love that. Dustin is a great guy and bringing a new perspective to the Sports Card Strategy Show with some Stranger Things. Rusty and McGart in the live chat mentions my Tupac cards. For those of you who are new to the Sports Card Strategy Show, I made quite a bit of money flipping Tupac cards at the National last year. Gas is a great company. You should check out Gas Trading Cards. They have some amazing, essentially recording artist cards for the most part. So if you have a favorite recording artist and you want some legit cards of theirs, even some autos, check out Gas Trading Cards. They do a great job. We got one more interview. It's a familiar face and a familiar voice. And then we're going to get into the audience QA before we wrap up this amazing Monday edition of the Sports Card Strategy Show. This man is Denny one time. He talked to Connor, also at Culture Collision. Let's see what they had to say.
Dodson, thanks for joining. It's great to finally meet you in person. Let's hop into some interview questions and get some more fantastic insight from you for the audience. We're going to kick things off. What is your favorite part about being a card shop owner?
I think my favorite part is the community of people that come into the shop virtually, in real life, digitally. You meet so many people. There's so many different ways to attack the hobby and enjoy the hobby, and having the card shop puts you in the middle of that community in so many ways. And so it's the people for sure.
Love it. What aspect, and this is a question that I'm excited to hear from you, because I'm excited for all the things that you guys have going on Graybos in terms of the store and getting that rolling out. It sounds like it's going to be a fantastic environment for a lot of different types of people. What aspect of the upcoming Graybos setup are you most excited about?
I think it's the combination of us with the sports card shop and the sports bar, going back to the community and the people and the energy. I think there'll be tremendous energy in that building almost every day of the week. Folks watching games, cheering for their fantasy player, running over and jumping into a break and then going back and watching a football game and being in a football break while watching football. It's like, if you're into sports and constant stimulation, like it's going to be the place for you. So I think being excited about every day going to work and walking into that environment is pretty cool.
Sure, yeah. I know I'm excited for it. It sounds like it's such a great place for so many different people in the hobby and in different hobbies. So I'm excited for what you guys are doing, and I think it's fantastic. Moving along, what advice/tips would you give for people just entering the hobby?
I think the hobby, while very exciting and fun, can be intimidating when there's so much that you don't know and you don't know where to find it. So if you're getting into anything, whether it's sports cards or a new business, a new career, a new hobby, I would say, just take the time to educate yourself. There's so many great resources out there, like Sports Card Strategy is certainly one of them, one of the best. But there's lots of ways you can learn, read, explore the hobby through podcasts, through reading articles online, etc. So I say just dive right in and educate yourself.
Love it, yeah. We want to plug some Graybo stuff just because we love you guys. You guys are a fantastic sponsor for us. What kinds of promotion and events does Grybos have planned that our audience should be aware of?
Well, right now, we have a few days left in January, and we're trying desperately to get on to Fanatics Live. And so there's a big sprint going on where we're trying to get folks to sign up for Fanatics Live using our promo code, making their first purchase. And the top 10 shops that get the most folks to do that are going to get on Fanatics Live after January. So all of that's on Instagram for us. You can go see the promo code there. You get a free $20 purchase by doing it, and you help us out a ton. So that's huge. We're breaking on Whatnot 4 or 5 nights a week right now. We do singles auctions. We do football, baseball, basketball breaks, even wrestling breaks there. So check us out there. And then, just follow us on Instagram, because Instagram is where we push. It's our mouthpiece to the world. That's where we push out all our information, talk about new product releases, breaks, promotions, sales, whatever. So check us out on Instagram.
Love it. We are currently in Atlanta, Georgia at Culture Collision. You guys are a vendor. What kind of goals do you set as a card show vendor?
As a card show vendor, this particular one, usually we have sales and like net margin goals for cards we're trying to sell. We also have goals for buying today, because or this whole weekend, because we're trying to drastically increase our inventory from now to the opening of the new shop. So we'll most likely buy more than we sell this weekend, and we're going to do it at Burbank in February as well. And we're using every kind of opportunity we can to buy, so that when we open our doors on March 23rd, hopefully, you walk in and you see tons of wax, tons of singles, just a great selection, great inventory.
Love it. Absolutely love everything you guys have going on. Duke, appreciate you taking the time to sit down with us today. Hopefully the audience found it as valuable as I did. Appreciate
I hope so, man. Great to meet you in person. Always love hanging out with Hickey and the boys.
Yeah, we love you too, Duke Denny, one time. So a couple of updates, obviously, since that interview was recorded. Graybos did get on Fanatics Live, thanks in part to you, the nooffseason.com family, and your support of Graybos. And the new shop is probably going to open in early May, we hear. So we're a little over a month away, hopefully, from the new grand opening of Graybos. The experience that Duke Denny one time Dodson has in his phenomenal brain. Call to action to all of you before we get into the audience QA. I mentioned earlier in the show, how do you win that $250 Graybos gift card courtesy of Ryan Painter, who pulled the 5K Chet Holmgren NT True RPA out of a Graybos break? I mentioned 1, you comment on this video. 2, you comment on the pinned post on IG at Sports Card Strategy. 3, you email screenshots of your comments and proof that you're following us on YouTube and IG to paul@nooffseason.com. I also mentioned that premium members of nooffseason.com will get 5 entries. Non-premium members of nooffseason.com will get 1 entry, but I'm throwing something else in there. If you want extra entries into a Wheel of Names random pick to get that $250 Graybos gift card, you need to email duke@graybos.co, and you need to write a nice little manifesto about how important the Sports Card Strategy Show is to you and your awareness level of Graybos, because we are at the 12-month fulfillment period of our partnership sponsorship with Graybos, and I am trying to renew with Duke Denny one time, and I'm trying to get him to maybe give us a little bit more funding from the sponsorship deal heading into this next phase. He's on board, but wow, wouldn't it be nice to have a little push from the nooffseason.com fam? Email duke@graybos.co with a nice manifesto about how important the Sports Card Strategy Show is to you and your awareness of Graybos and graybos.co. And I'm going to give you some extra entries into that wheel of names to win that special $250 gift card to graybos.co, courtesy of Ryan Painter. Let's get into the audience QA and live chat love before we wrap up today's show. Shane Graham, normally up first in the live chat. I threw him a curveball today with the earlier start time on youtube.com/Paul Hickey. He's first in the audience QA. He says, Paul, is now the time to get in on guys who got sent down to the minors like Wood, Holiday, Caminero, etc. I can see their prices going down with the hype fading as the season starts. I would say the general answer to that question, Shane, is I like where your head's at. I think go into Market Movers or 130 Point. If you're looking for a free tool, check out other tools out there. The guys at Card Hedge are fans of the show. I talked to John at Card Hedge, cardhedger.com. Use your favorite data tool, even if you like Card Ladder. Look, I mean, we're marketmoversapp.com affiliates. You can use the promo code NOOFFSEASON to save 20% for life after a free 14-day trial. But use your favorite data tool, even if it's just the eBay sold listings. Be astute about who you get in on. But yes, I think that now I would rank them Holiday number one, because I talked about him earlier in the show. So that should answer that question. Holiday is my number one. And go to nooffseason.com player rankings, sports card rankings. Find the Holiday profile and click on the cards to buy. Wood would be next, and Caminero would be after that. So Wood and Caminero are not in our rankings currently, but Holiday is. We're going to have to go back into the lab to see what opportunities exist for Wood and Caminero, but I like where Shane's head's at with that. So thank you, Shane. Up next is Adam. Adam asks, he says, I have 2 SGC 10 Wyatt Langford Bowman Chrome. So this would be base, I believe. He says, I'm $92 and $86 in. Did I buy too high to turn a profit? Well, let's pull up a little Wyatt Langford for you in Market Movers and see what those cards are going for. I appreciate the question. And I think with Wyatt Langford, we sent out a sell alert, right? So there could be a situation where you don't profit now because you bought in a little too high, but you could potentially profit later if there is a performance spike, which we don't like to bank on. But yeah, I think generally, I'm looking at the SGC chart here, and it looks like that card last was at the point that you bought it at. Never. Bowman Chrome base SGC 10 first has never been as high as where you bought in at. So Adam, I don't know when you bought in. I don't know how you bought in, but in terms of if this was no eBay, PWCC, or anywhere else that Market Movers tracks purchases of, has seen a sale that high. Actually, you know what? I'm looking at the paper. Let me try to find the Chrome real quick. Sorry, that was the paper. Let me try to find the Chrome. Here's the Chrome. So Chrome all time has an $82 sale on March 4th. So that could be you, but I don't see the 92. Yeah, no 92 and 86. The all-time high for this Wyatt Langford is $81.66, according to Market Movers for the SGC 10. So I guess my earlier statement stands, Adam. I have not seen a sale that high. So what you could do to potentially salvage this, although I wouldn't recommend it, what you could do is his PSA 10 of the same card is going for around between $100 and $120 over the last 30 days. And so I could see if you cracked those SGC 10s out and submitted them to PSA 10 in a bulk submission, you would be right at about $100 to $120 all in. And you could then break even or maybe make money if there is a performance spike. But I don't think I'd recommend that. What I would do, Adam, is I would hold these. And there's a lot of hype around Wyatt Langford right now. So even though you're probably going to be underwater, I think your best bet at getting the most potential back would be to list in a buy it now or best offer format at about 115, 120 right now, and see if you can get somebody to bite if there is a performance spike during the early part of Wyatt Langford's career, which starts later this week. Later this week, Wyatt Langford will make his debut, and so you may be able to salvage and make some money off of this. Appreciate the question, Adam. Definitely, if you are not a premium member of nooffseason.com yet, you need to be, because we're going to help you make money and make better decisions than that. Luke Menschel, just a shout out to you for your phenomenal performance today in the live chat. Liked my Ethan Salas call, so I just wanted to give him a shout. Rusty Imagart says, Paul has the baby steps, and when all my cards are sold, I'm calling in for I'm card free shout. LOL. This is a Dave Ramsey reference for sure. I owe all cash flow to Sports Card Strategy Show right now, and I'm loving it. Rusty, love you too, my man. Bo Belcher, shout out to you in the live chat for all of your love. Bo Belcher says, so excited for baseball season back this week. Yes, Luke Menschel says Wyatt Langford has already moved off of our player rankings. That's because we sent out the sell alert. Shane Graham, high on James Wood. Got sent down, but had a great spring training. Yeah, I think James Wood is definitely in that conversation, like I said earlier, in terms of the Jackson Holiday chatter. Luke Menschel, talking about Jackson Holiday, says prices will hold if demand doesn't go down. Will artificially keep prices steady on buying at current prices. Believe that's in regards to the Jackson Holiday. Love that. Shane Graham put his last holiday up on eBay before he got sent down, was going to take it down, but got bids on that already. That sounds like it could potentially be an L of the week. A W of the week, Landon Holland made the live stream for the first time. Good to see you, Landon. And we've got Luke Menschel talking about the Jackson Holiday following Ellie De La Cruz pattern that I spoke about earlier. Rusty Imagart asks, so is Holiday going to continue to rise after the season starts and he spends time down? No, he's not going to continue to rise until he gets called up. That's the whole point. What's up to Card Snatcher? Good to see you, Elena. Your cards from the Prism break are in the mail. XU Vandal in the house. New name in the live chat. Good to see you. Says, about the scam, if it goes through AG and you list it with no returns, it becomes final sale as soon as it passes authentication. Good tip there. Luke Menschel wants me to go back into the lab and get the beakers out. Working on a new lab in an upstairs office here at the residence. Pumped about the new lab. There's going to be new stuff in the network happening at the new lab, so stay tuned for that. Rusty Imagart says, how do I handle the guys moved off the list related to the prospect list? Typically, those are guys that we move off of our player rankings and we send out sell alerts for, Rusty. So sell them now, says Luke Menschel, and he is correct. Text sports cards to 1-833-992-5727 to get those sell alerts. Luke reiterating, if players moved off the list, you need to get their cards out, or I guess hold them if you PC, he says. Luke is correct 100%. Get them gone, adds Shane Graham. Joe E says you have to do 6 20-card PSA submissions to offset the price increase. Like the math. Thanks, Joe. Really thinks the increase sucks, but don't have a choice, adds Luke Menschel. Appreciate that. All right. LC Baseball says 5K in your pocket right now is better than potentially more in the future with a high grade. I would agree with that. That's in regards to Ryan Painter's Chet Holmgren. John Skeeter Robinson to the Mike LaCusta, Connor Barnett golf card discussion has a lot to add along with Luke and Shane. So appreciate that. Skeeter says, if you're looking for 2 golfers to buy that could also win the Masters with a good history at Augusta, Will Zalatoris, 2nd and T6, Sahith Theegala, which the guys talked about, 9th in his debut last year. Very, very intrigued to see what happens in the Masters. I'm excited to unload my Scotty Scheffler and my John Rahm SI for Kids cards. I want to address something. Rusty Emigart mentioned Max Verstappen. So we are going to send out a Max Verstappen sell alert today. We've already moved him off the rankings, and we've already moved him off of the member dashboard for cards to buy. So again, if you're a premium member at nooffseason.com, check out the new member dashboard. It's basically a way to keep you instantly up to date. Just go to nooffseason.com, log in and click on member dashboard. All of our latest content, all of our latest buy opportunities are right there in front of your face. So get in. But Max Verstappen, yeah, we essentially called this. I mean, it's a basic timing the market pattern with Max Verstappen cards. We said to buy in a few months ago over the last few months and sell now. So it's just a timing the market on Max. Shane Graham adds, Rusty, his cards have gone way up the past month or so. You could have bought a Chrome PSA 10 for $115 in late December. I sold mine last week before the race for $270. Brilliant. Love it, Shane. All right. And yeah, Shane also says Max's prices are pretty high at the yearly or all-time high. Would not recommend buying now unless you buy raw and grade. Shout out to the sports card professor in the house. Good to see you, Orest Boyko. Thanks for dropping the love to our guy Jeremy Lee of Sports Cards Live and Kurt of Kurt's Cards Care. All right, let's take one final look at the live chat just to make sure I'm not missing anything spectacular. And I would have if I wouldn't have looked out for our guy Mark Drzinski. What up, Mark D? And our guy Brian Steeler 714. He says hold Langford. He's going to be top 3 for Rookie of the Year all year. He will definitely have some spikes. Interesting play there. There you go. Brian Steeler 714 coming in hot with a hot take saying hold Langford. We've already sent out a sell alert. That's because we know you're making money if you bought in when we told you to make money, and we've got the data to prove it. But I think Brian Steeler 714 essentially brings up another play. After the hype goes down, buy back in, because then there could be another hype spike later. We saw that pattern with Ellie already. I didn't mention it on today's show yet, but I saw the pattern with Ellie. If you looked at market movers over the last 30 days, Ellie's prices have gone up from where they were in the offseason. So I think you can probably make that pattern happen with a guy like Langford as well after you liquidate. Or if you'd rather listen to Brian Steeler 714 and hold a few prints, there you go. But I think Steeler was probably trying to help out our guy Adam with those SGC 10s that he paid a little bit too much for. All right, everybody. No name cards. Will Gavin Lux ever live up to the hype of his cards in 2020? Gavin Lux, I think, is an example of why we say sell at the call up, no name cards. So thanks for jumping in the live chat. Everybody, thanks so much for watching and listening to the Sports Card Strategy Show. I'm Paul Hickey with nooffseason.com. More great stuff to come later this week. Enjoy the NCAA tournament. Enjoy opening day of Major League Baseball. And enjoy the Masters coming up in the NFL draft. A lot of great stuff to stay tuned for on Wednesday when Connor Barnett returns from the lab and we get after it in a deep dive format show. Everybody, thanks so much again. nooffseason.com fam. Have a great day. Thanks so much for being here with us on the Sports Card Strategy Show. To connect with us further, please subscribe to the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Paul Hickey. Please also give us a follow on Instagram at Sports Card Strategy and on X at nooffseason card. We also have a Discord that you could join at sportscardstrategy.com. Everyone, I'm Paul Hickey. For the rest of us here at nooffseason.com, have a great day. We'll see you again soon.